Morning, everyone. Welcome to the May 26, 2026 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you are with us. And for those watching online, we are glad you're with us as well. We'll begin as we always do with an invocation, and Captain Douglas Monroe from the Henderson Salvation Army Corps is here with us. Please rise.
I want to thank you for the invitation to come to do this. Let us go before the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity that we have to gather this morning on a rainy day, but nevertheless to do your business, Lord. And as business is discussed around this room, Lord, let your wisdom be evident in that discussion, Lord. Lord, we pray for our county, our beautiful county, a privilege to live in this county, Lord. We just thank you for that. We pray for the citizens of this county, Lord. We lift up our state to you, Lord. We pray for our state, and we also pray for our country, Lord, and the citizens of this country. Lord, we just thank you for yesterday as we took time to pause and remember those who died in the service of our country for our freedom, Lord. Once again, thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. In your holy and precious name we pray. Amen.
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 Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Yes, ma'am.
And Magistrate Putnam.
Here.
Gentlemen, you have in your packet two sets of minutes. One is from the May 26th special called meeting, which was the budget workshop. And after a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So moves. Second.
Motion a second. Any other corrections, clarifications? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next are the minutes from the May 12th regular meeting of Fiscal Court.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections and clarifications or additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Busy schedule. I'm going to call Mr. Monroe right back up. Give us a quick briefing on an event you've got coming up.
Next Monday, a week from today, we are hosting our 21st annual Sandball Golf Scramble at the Henderson Country Club. And we are asking if you want to be part of that you either see me afterwards or we have some flyers passed around. There's flyers that we printed backwards. But we are asking that if you want to be a part of that. It's still not too late, even though it's just a week away. So see me after the meeting, and I will direct you to how you can participate in our scramble.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I know Master Putman does a terrific job representing the interests and activities of Salvation Army here in court, so you have a champion in him.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Captain.
All right, next, Mark Julian from the Water District is here to give us an update. I appreciate you being here. There's a lot of information in your packet you can refer to as Mark Julian goes through this update.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm presenting 2 months of metrics for our project update here. Our current operations are focusing on accountability and water loss mitigation, field response, and modernization. We're averaging about 40 million gallons bought each month and about 25.5 million sold. Our water loss is back up. We know it's going to change each month. The positives here are we have a preliminary engineering report that has been completed, and we are in the final stages of making any edits to that because we're going to go after and seek funding on our own so we can replace the other 2/3 of the meters in the system. We've got one purchase meter to replace at 41A. We also have, we've completed the 1/3 of the meter changeouts. So all those meter changeouts that we were trying to do, replace 1/3 of the customer meters with the funding that has been completed. We are finalizing those invoices and we will pay them by the end of the month. We're pleased with the progress. There has been a few issues. You know, some customers had some old service lines that broke, but overall, we're happy to have all that completed. Let's see here. like I said, our water loss rates are elevated, and a significant portion of those, that 14 million that contributes to that 35% that you see on the screen, is because when these old meters that were changed out, when the registers are dead, the billing contractor that we use, they imported a complete file. We're having to go through and make those adjustments manually so our customers don't get erroneous bills. But that contributes to that higher percentage. So I don't think that it's going to be quite that high in the months coming since that's changed out. We'll probably have one more month of elevated numbers there due to the billing adjustments, and then from there on, we should see things come back down.
So you have more accurate measurements of water use and water loss with the new meters? Is that kind of the gist of that?
Yes. The older meters, as they get older, or excuse me, the meters that were in the ground from 2012 to this year, as they age, they are not as accurate. Where these new meters, they have no moving parts and they're very accurate, so therefore that helps our revenue. That was the whole premise on getting those meters replaced, so that it'll improve our finances. And we know that going forward, we're going to have to really concentrate on efficient management and operations, and then replacing a lot of this old infrastructure. But the funding did help us get a third of all the meters replaced. Already talked about that. Really, I don't have much else. Just we're continuing to get the system mapped. There's been a lot of work out near the airport as the gas department has extended their gas service towards Geneva and Smith Mills. So that's a great opportunity for us to get out there and get more of the system mapped, and that's where we've been concentrating our efforts the past few weeks. Like I said, we're just going to continue to address leaks in a timely manner. We're almost to the point where we can get 2 crews together now that we've got our trucks in order. We're starting to get them stocked with tools and equipment, pumps, everything we need, traffic control signs, all that stuff. Really, I think this summer we'll see a lot of our leaks fixed increase per month. And like I said, finalizing our preliminary engineering report, that allows us to go after our funding and grants to pay for all this infrastructure to get replaced. It's going to be a considerable amount, so we're not going to be able to take that on all at once. We're going to have to break it out into phases. I expect over the next 5 to 15 years, we'll do it in 3 to 5 year chunks. We'll go after funding. Once we get it, then we'll bid it out, go to construction, get a portion of everything done, and then move on to the next phase. Just want to thank everyone for their continued support, and does anyone have any questions?
Mark, with the final phase, are you going to have enough money?
There's
I mean,
still-
I know everything's going up. That's the only reason I asked the question.
I think we'll have enough money to get us by, but every few years, every utility has to look at their rate structure, and that's something that we're going to have to do as well. I can't really comment any further than that. I just know that with cost overruns, we will have to look at our rates.
Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
So how much do you think is these changing out this third of meters? How much water savings do you think that's going to be?
If we would have had enough capital to replace all the meters, I think we would have seen the numbers go down by 8 to 12% just based on billing alone. So if we were snapped our fingers right now and every customer meter was replaced, I'd see our water loss decreasing about 8 to 12%.
So it's safe to say that our customers are going to see 8 to 12% increase?
Not necessarily. That is a function of the cost justifications that we would provide the PSC as part of a rate case study, which that has not even begun yet.
Right.
But I don't think that's going to translate to 8 to 12% higher rates. The last increase was 7%, and that was in 2023, which went into effect in January of 2024.
Right, but I'm not saying the increase. Leaving the rates the same. If we were losing 8% through the meters and now we're going to gain 8% back, somebody's going to have to pay more money.
Correct, but we didn't replace all the meters. So, I mean, the water that we're selling to our customers, like when I say we sold 25 million gallons during the month of April,
Right.
we're probably still in the range of 8% under billing, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
We didn't replace all the meters. We replaced about a third, which was, Oh, well, $1.2 million or so.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, you know, we had a target, I think, of 15% or less. Is that kind of the industry standard you mentioned? As you, you know, so you're back up to 35.36%, partly because you're getting more accurate readings now, right?
Right. Well, I mean, there's a large number of adjustments that happened as part of these changeouts. What I'm saying is the simplest way I can explain it is when a meter does not have a reading, we have to go off a 12-month average.
Right.
And our billing system, basically, we had to issue a lot of manual adjustments because a lot of these meters we changed out were dead.
Right.
Like they weren't registering at all.
Right.
So we didn't have an outread, so we had to go off a 12-month average. We never can just come up with a number to bill a customer. We have to go off either a 6-month, 12-month average or a system average if we don't have a reading.
Right. So as you continue to change out these meters, do you anticipate the same kind of dynamic happening where the actual loss measurement it'll be hard to get it down to 15%?
I do think it's going to be a challenge, but like I said, I think if we change out all of our meters and then start replacing the mains and the service lines, which we're doing that on a smaller scale, but we're talking about some of our mains have been in service since the Vietnam War. I mean, that's really the underlying issue, and that's a over $10 million problem. I mean, there's no way that the district or the customers can pay for something that size in short term. It's going to have to be done in phases.
At 35% and change there, are you still making more than you lose at this point? You know, financially, is it
No.
sustainable?
No, I mean, this funding has helped us and is positioning us to go after more funding, but it did not take care of the problem. The underlying problem is the age of the infrastructure. It's just like if you have a fleet of 10 trucks, well, you can't buy 10 trucks in a year. You're going to have to do it over time.
Yeah.
Since I've been in charge of this water district with our board in 2023, we're taking steps to try to catch up, but we've got a lot of ground to make up.
Any other questions?
So how many, besides the meter changes, how many leaks have we repaired
We're averaging between 18 and 28 a month.
a month? Okay.
But like I said, we're trying to move forward with 2 crews, trying to build up our leak response instead of utilizing the contractor. Just be better for us to build up our capabilities to handle that rather than just outsource it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't see Jackson. Where's Brad?
The next item on the agenda was HLI project presentation. That has been put on hold for a good reason. This group had planned to pay for and erect some more decorative Welcome to Henderson County signs at 60 East at the border of Davis County and 60 West at Highland Creek, the border of Union County, and also I-69 South at Webster County, because we don't have much of a aesthetic front door in those corridors. And I anticipated them coming to us and asking for a little help to pay for those signs, but apparently their fundraising has gone better than they had expected, so they did not need to appear today, but be looking for that. Hopefully those signs go up soon and look much better than what we have right now. And Nick, where's Nick? Those will be on private property, so it's not something you'll have to maintain. Good deal. Next, we have a couple appointments. First, to the Human Rights Commission to take the place of Marcos Nicholas Jr., who took a job in Wisconsin. And we wish him well, but Christine Martin, somebody we identified as someone who could fill admirably in that role, and I'll ask Reverend Johnson if you'd like to come up and tell us a little bit about Christine.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
And hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday weekend. Gives me the great honor to recommend Miss Christine Martin. Miss Christine Martin comes by way of Kenya, and I didn't know she was in our area. She's been in our area some about 11 or 12 years. She is a former HLI graduate. She's did some work with Matthew 25, and she resides here in Henderson and works in Evansville, and mother of 2 children. So we are excited to have her, and I want to thank Judge Snyder, and want to thank this board for always watching out for HRC. And I've always said that I always want our board to be a reflection of what our county looks like. And adding her, that is a tremendous. We were saddened to lose Mr. Marcos, but we're certainly glad for him and his new adventure that he's taking. So we're glad to add her to the Human Rights Commission. So she's excited about joining us, and we're excited to have her, and we're excited to learn some language, some new language now. So,
Thank you. Any other
thank you.
questions?
And while I'm here, Joe, I just want to also put a plug in. I know we got another month to go. Juneteenth be on Father's Day, June the 21st. So we thank you for your support for that every year. And I think this is year 4 for us. That's always a tremendous festival, coming right off of W.C. Handy, and then the Juneteenth down just right across the street, right behind us. And from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And we just always have a great turnout. So if you guys can put that on your calendar, you have a few minutes. I know it's on Father's Day, and I always tell the committee that we don't bother y'all on Mother's Day. I don't know why y'all bother us on Father's Day, but that's what it is. So they outruled me. So thank you guys. Have a good week.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve Christine Martin.
So move. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We also have 3 seats coming up at the end of their terms on the Planning Commission. And each of them, Dickie Johnson, Heather Crooks, and David Dixon, I talked to them, and they would like to serve another term, and they've done a very good job with the Planning Commission. It's not easy work, especially these days, so I appreciate their willingness to do it. And I'd like to reappoint Dickie Johnson, Heather Crooks, and David Dixon to the Planning Commission. Get a motion approved?
So moved.
Motion is second. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we call up Eric Higgs for a series of grant agreements.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
The first one is the waste tire grant that we get from the state every year. It's the $4,000 that pays help for disposal of waste tires. I will say this, and this would be of interest to farmers. We do have a 3-day waste tire amnesty day coming up in the spring of 2027. I should have a final date on that later this summer. So there'll be more info on that to come.
And the chance to dispose of large farm tires?
Yeah.
You and I talked a little bit about the waste tire situation, and I think you mentioned that you think this $4,000 grant is sufficient for that. Do
Well,
you need more?
we need more in the budget for it because we are getting ready to haul off our 3rd load out of past the 4,000 for this past year. So we're going to end up having to spend about 5,000 out of our budget for tires beyond the 4,000.
Next fiscal year?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on that. So we have a grant agreement for the waste tire grant, and that involves signing an agreement with the state, so I need a motion to approve that.
So move. Second. It's been reviewed and approved as to form and legality.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And next,
Next is the Household Hazardous Waste Day grant. It's the grant we get every year where citizens can bring their hazardous waste to the recycling center. We have an environmental company come in and they haul it off. There was a lot of interest from citizens about doing Electronics Day as well, which I didn't get a chance to tie it in with this particular event, but next year the hope is to maybe combine the two together, because the state would also actually pay for that as well. Now with this, we already know how much we're getting. It's $23,800. We generally have to send money back. This is one of those deals where you don't know what you're going to have until the day of. And so the last couple of years, we've actually had to send money back. But it's a service that citizens are greatly appreciative for.
it's still basically a pass-through anyway, so whatever we use. It's fine.
Yeah.
So they're not penalizing us if we send it back, it's just.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions on that?
We have to vote on that.
I need a motion to approve the household hazardous waste grant.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And one more.
And the last one is the Kentucky Pride Grant. This grant has paid for a lot of to be able to update our recycling equipment and expand our operation. I'd actually applied for $163,650 to buy 10 new recycling trailers. However, the state only gave us $98,190, which would be enough to buy 6 trailers. So,
Good job, Eric.
Yes.
So we need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second.
This agreement's also been reviewed and approved as to form and legality.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, questions?
now I have gotten 2 quotes on these trailers. Normally, in previous years when we bought these trailers, we went with Protainer, which is a state contract. They have a state contract. These are not something that a lot of people manufacture. So I found 2, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find a third.
Well, work with Brenda Ryder to make sure that we meet all the requirements of that grant and, you know, even on state contract, as you know, we have to. So.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay, we have a lot of business to do with the road department. I'll call up Nick Stallings to begin with a road salt bid.
All right, this road salt, how y'all doing first? Good morning. Good morning. Hey, road salt is normally done with CAECO, which is Kentucky Association of Counties. A lot of these counties are so small, they don't get a whole lot of tonnage out there, so they're not big people that shows up to the party when you know, KYTC and NDOT and everybody gets their salt. So they try to group everything together to get a big number to get a good price. The problem is everybody's been weighing off of the salt and not going that way with some of the other counties. So CAECO has dropped that avenue of getting salt. So they kind of left it at the county who wants it, counties get it, counties who don't want it, they don't get it. So what we're gonna do is going out for bid now to see if we can just get what our prices will be. I'll be able to take that and compare it to state contract price. I gotta have something on the books to show the state contract if we are competitive, or we actually buy the state contract. Because they have hauling included in theirs. They also have the terminal they're coming from, depending on if it's gonna be from Owensboro or Louisville. And then, so all that's counted in with their prices. So I just can't go and say, hey, I need 100 tons, and they bring it to me. I've gotta have the background information to be able to get their price and what they would have to raise it up if they're coming to our facility, which is out at the Riverport versus KYTC's facility.
See a motion to
So moved.
Nick going out for that?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I was going to ask, what are some of the other counties going to? Is it the beet juice or whatever the mixture
A
is?
lot of them are staying with sand, and there's some counties that ain't put anything out, just telling everybody to stay home stay home till it melts. But we mix ours with sand, usually a 50-50 mix or 1-to-3 mix, which sand gives the grit you need for the traction, but also the salt works with it, and it's able to strengthen extend our salt farther than you know, we usually go through about 225 tons a year. You know, if that was straight salt, we would double that easily. So, you know, we've got a pretty good system that works out there to get the roads clean as quick as possible. Plus also being mindful, the salt right now is around $127 a ton. So, just to put that in perspective, I'm paying $80 a ton for asphalt. So asphalt lasts for 20 years, salt lasts for 20 minutes.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
so
The
the next is our fairgrounds, concession stands. These are the areas that the bigger windows out front that overlook the arena. they're slowly starting to show their age. We've done some repairs we can with waterproofing the tops of the trim and down the sides, but water's still infiltrating there, and it's going down the side and then starting to get into the concession stand. So this would be a big enough job where I want to go out for bids to say if I do break that threshold, I don't have to come back and ask for bids once I ask for quotes from people. So if we can go ahead and ask for bids, I can go ahead and get this on the list to have somebody come in and do the repair. So I had to do 4 new windows, new concession stand doors, and a concession stand windows that open up, for the people to buy the concessions. So it's just, it's nothing extravagant, it's just gotta be done, so that way they have properly working windows without leaking.
Permission to go out to bid?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next.
All right, that's, let me do the concession stand, the recreational center. All right, so you remember how a few months ago, we talked about what we were gonna do to the new Basket Recreational Park, put a new septic tank in, new roof system, gutters, paints, doors, and lighting. Okay, just, we're stuck, Brent. All right, so this is what we were looking at, open air structure. They had a lot of bird problems, rotten problems. The posts were beyond repair. Doors were sticking. Paint was gone. We had a very, very small amount of guttering there. So this is what we were trying to figure out what we need to do for the baseball fields. The problem is this is where we were at. I've had a lot of people call or get in contact with me or the office about why we didn't buy the fire department or why we didn't utilize that. And it's not that we didn't want to, it's just that we didn't have an option because that's the right of way line right there. All right, inside the yellow is owned by CSX. They bought this much right away because at one point in time they were going to make another track through here. So everything on this side of the line is right away of CSX. We cannot put anything in there. This is about 60 feet by 80 feet. There is enough room to put a septic tank in there or to park vehicles or to be able to utilize that with having this road ditch, having that road ditch, and having the excess water for it to properly perk. That's the whole point with the septic tank. So what we did was we came through here and we were able to get a septic tank placed right here, right outside the bathrooms, right here, and then we ran a trunk line all the way down the inside of this fence. So it wasn't in the field of play, but it was inside the fence on our side, and then we used the lateral lines out here by the walking path, which cover up the grass. You'll never see it. It won't ever be a problem with the drainage issue. So it all remained within our right of way and not have to deal with the CSX right of way, because this right here is the old septic tank, and it's on the CSX right of way. So we were able to, had a budget of $50,000, and I'll put the septic tank in. It was $16,100 for septic tank, and it was $27,000 to redo the building. So I came under budget, and we were able to still maintain what we have there. People were able to sit underneath this opening and be able to see the baseball field, be able to buy the concessions, sit in the shade, plus be able to see the games. So this was the path we chose. So this is a new construction. As you can see right over here, that's where the septic line went through, which out of edge of field of play. That's the edge of the right of way there. And then they started putting in the roof structure. This is what it's done after it's been painted. They put new doors in, new paint, new fascia, new support post and roofing all the way through. This is what it looks like underneath. It's completely covered now, so you don't have no bird issues. They got new lights, new doors there, all trimmed out. They haven't put the gutters up yet. and then new doors there, and this is what it looks like underneath. That's new double doors under the little area that they sit at, and this is the back section. So they got new doors into the bathrooms. They actually brought the electrical box up to code. It wasn't at code then. Since they had to rip off the structure, they brought everything back up to code, new weatherhead, everything all put in together there. And then this is the front of the sitting structure, so they can sit in and watch baseball and stay in the shade or stay out of the rain. So I know what everybody was thinking. What about the children? We saved it. This is the toddler play place. We were able to save the toddler play place. Right back there it says toddler play place. All right, we were able to save save it for the children. But no, aside, that worked out well. We had the fence. We had corrected the fence around the way through there. We made it so no little kids could escape the back. So everything's things in good shape. But they actually started an open weekend this past weekend, and they're more than ecstatic having a structure that doesn't leak, that it's no longer closed. It actually has good use. It actually looks good, and they'll be proud of. So
I was out there this weekend, as was Sheila, watching our grandbabies play. It's really nice. Y'all did a good job.
Was there much you had to do inside?
no, well, we put new ceilings in above the bathroom. The bathrooms were, they were functional. They just were closed because of those septic tank issues. So we got all those tied in to the new septic tank. The concession stands got new ceilings just where the old ones were leaking and causing a problem. We put new ceilings in there. The other part's storage. They've got a walkway storage through to where they can bring in equipment, bases and what have you out there that they can bring in and get out of the rain and store for security reasons. So, but everything inside was functional. They had good electric. We updated some of their electric outlets and some of their lighting because since the electric was redone this time, so all that was done too.
Good job. Good to see. Any other questions on that? All right, moving on.
All right, next thing we have is coming back on the State Streets for All grant. I think yeah, that's where I'm at. Yep. All right. So what I had is I had this thing split up between LiDAR and signs, because they're going to work to replace every sign we have in the county, update all of those, bring about the MQTC standards, and give the county a fresh start on signs. It's a major monetary action. So with this grant, I was able to collect that and be able to get that done. And then, so Kurt will explain how this process was done on selecting the contractor or the consultant for the design. This is design only.
Yeah, because this was through consultant services, the bidding had to be a little bit different. With the Federal Highway Administration involved and everything else, you just can't go on bottom line price. So by the bid package, we had assigned five items of criteria for each consultant that wanted to apply, and they were weighted and scaled from 20 down to 0. Each one, so a total number of points you could earn from just the qualifications of whether your experience with doing this particular job, past performances of the similar nature, their approach to how they want to do this project, their availability, if it's going to take 60 days, or if they're looking at they can't start this for another 9 months, and also their familiarity and the proximity of the company itself. A lot of people don't realize these consultant firms come from all over the country for a project like this, and it was unbelievable to me that to turn in bids for this, they sent a driver, one company sent a driver from St. Louis over to here to hand deliver the bid just to make sure it was on time. Another one sent their driver from Virginia Beach, Virginia, here to hand deliver the bid, make sure it's on time. So this is, we're talking $200,000, $250,000 projects. Anyway, we took the bids, the packages, the consultant packages that had been received. It was a committee effort of Taylor went through them, Nick went through them, I went through them, and assigned each vendor point scale. Taylor gave his recommendation, Nick gave his recommendation, I gave my recommendation, and we all came out to the same. Everybody is really on this, almost the same, when you get up to this involvement, these guys have all done highway grants before, they all done state work and national work, so it all comes down to really close little things, but we had all selected the same companies for this. And for the signs, for the signs and LiDAR, we projected as Bacon Farmer Workman, right? Yep. Yeah, Baker Farmer Workman. Like I said, point scales, you guys have copies of the tabulation sheets there. Like I said, we came at 100 points for Bacon Farmer. CDI was at 95, and at GPI was 85. It was really close between all of these. And then for the road widening, we went with Palmer Engineering. Both these companies are very familiar with projects here in Kentucky. Both have worked with the Transportation Cabinet before. And once we did not ask for any costs until once we had selected the two that we thought would do the best work. At that point, we did ask for cost estimate from both of them, and both of them are well within what our Nick's cost estimate was, between the $200,000 and $250,000. So it's our recommendation to go with Palmer Engineering for the road widening consultant and Bacon Farmer Workman for the road sign and LiDAR consultant.
And from the engineering part of this, Bacon Farmer Workman, they did a lot of sign, within their proposal they sent in. They've done some sign, corrections, agendas. They've done some sign, forgetting the cool out of the word, but they've done a lot of sign restoration. That's it. So some of these old counties out in District 1. District 1's got 11 counties. They've done this all the way through the whole entire District 1. So they do have a setup. They do have a working plan to be able to do the sign management system. Because what we have is we have signs that are out there. Some are damaged, some are old, some are shot up, some are gone because they got stolen. So they have to go through and do the whole entire county-wide on all 375 miles of road, figure out what signs are there, what condition they're in, and then go back and run through the MUTCD, which is what everybody uses in the United States, to figure out what signs are missing and what needs to be done. So having a consultant that's never done that before start at scratch, we could be 6, 7, 8 months into getting a good schedule that would work. Well, BFW has already done that before, so they actually have a good plan that the way they ran their LiDAR and then their sign situations out in District 1. So that was kind of a big point for Bacon Farmer Workman. Then on the road widening side, Palmer Engineering did all the same type of work for the city of Elizabethtown. City of Elizabethtown also received this Straight Streets for All grant, so they had Palmer as their consultant when they did all the widening work. They did curbs and gutters. Obviously, being in a city area, you have curbs, gutters, you got sidewalks, you have ADA ramps, you have crosswalks. So they have a little more in depth. But ours is the same kind of deal. They'll go through, do the LiDAR, do the shoulders, do the corrections, move the ditches, extend the culverts. So it's a good plan what they have too. And also, we're trying to find something that we're not reinventing the wheel. They have already done this on other projects. Well, that's what we're doing right now, is they have something that's called a balloon boat that, that when you hit the front of it, it blows out the back, so you can't take it off. But they've got to be used with square channel posts, not U channel. Right now we use U channel because that has been cost effective over the years. But square channel is what the state uses, and it's a little stronger post, a little more costly. But with this grant, having nearly $2 million to do signs, now we can put those square posts up, because once you hit the balloon boat in the front, now the apparatus in the back that keeps the boat on is actually inside that square post. So if somebody's going to steal it, they'll find their way, but it's not going to be as simple as hitting the head off and taking off. So it's going to be a little bit more, make them work to get that stop sign. So
Nick, just curious, out of that $250,000 grant, how many signs does that buy?
I haven't. Oh, it will do. Well, no, $250,000 is just the design firm.
Oh, that's just the design.
Yeah, the total grant was $4.2 million, and we have half of it for signs and half of it for the road widening. So the consultant was set up under the design portion of this, because the way the federal highway does is what you set up for your phases, that's what you got to spend it for. So we can't save money in design and use it for construction, because it doesn't work that way with federal highways. So we have it set up to do 6 to 10 signs per mile. Is kind of the national average for signs. Now, you may go down some of our roads and never touch a sign, but then you come up to some of these intersections, or you come up to some of these subdivisions we have, and you have 4 or 5 signs at an intersection. So the way it works out is between 6 to 10 signs a mile. Roughly a sign's about $88 to be constructed and to put up.
Thank you, Britt.
Any other questions? And again, the hiring of consultants is a requirement of the federal grant.
Yep. So it's something I couldn't do myself. They wouldn't let me. So
Right.
That's why we had to go through consultant to do this.
So we have a recommendation of Palmer Engineering for the road widening project and Bacon Farmer Workman for the sign project. Can you get a motion to approve?
So move.
Do we need to do separate votes? Okay.
Let's go with road signs first. If you don't mind doing that over again. Bacon Farmer Workman for the sign project.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Road widening is Palmer Engineering.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We also have a list of surplus property from the road department, all mowers. We ride those mowers pretty hard, and we need some new ones. And I think you've purchased some new ones already.
Yes, we've already purchased 3 new ones. Two of ours we were given from the jail when they got their new sets. We were able to use them, but again, they were pretty wore out when they came from there. Then two of our mowers, or 2 of our oldest ones in our fleet, one's got about 2,100 hours on it, and the other's got 1,900 hours on it, which for mowers, that's amazing. We've got a good maintenance schedule, so they were able to keep those mowers running. But now it's a point to where we have battery charger issues. We have pumps. At some point in time, when you put enough money into your hydro pumps and your spindles, you're out more money than buying a new one. So we were having battery problems, like I said, with one of them. So we're always having to keep it on a tender. So we moved on and got new ones. So these are still useful. So we're going to go sell them like we normally do on Gov Deals. We also have a truck topper that was dropped off at the road department, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago by the old EMA guy. Said he didn't need it anymore. Actually, the truck was sold, the one he had, so it's been sitting around. We've asked a couple other entities if they need it within the county, and nobody does. It's kind of a one make off for that truck. So we're going to go ahead and push that on. So
Need a
that
motion
also.
Motion to approve those items as surplus,
So move.
Let me read the summary.
please.
A resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof.
You have a motion now?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And thank you, Nick.
All right, thank y'all.
Thanks, Nick.
And thank
Thank
you,
you, Nick.
Thank you, Master Tompkins, for your help on the
Yeah,
grading. Appreciate
we're
that.
detailed.
Next, we have the annual approval of the emergency operations plan here in Henderson County, and we only have one real change from last year, and those are the improvements we made on the siren network here, the storm siren network, and I'll have Kenny just briefly remind us the changes that were made to the EOP because of that.
Sure. Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
So once a year we do this, and this year, like he said, like the judge said, really the only change is just adding that new siren protocol that we've got in place, which basically, just so that everybody remembers, we now, when it comes time to alert on severe thunderstorms, we only alert to the mid-level and high-level thunderstorms, which are the higher winds, 70 miles an hour and up, instead of the 58-mile-an-hour wind threshold, which is the base model thunderstorm. That and tornadoes, we still do that for all. We're also changing, we also changed over the system to a polygon-based warning system that matches all of your mobile apps, so that when that polygon is drawn, if you're inside that polygon, the storm sirens go off inside instead of all of the sirens now throughout the county. So we're being more focused on where that warning is, which reduces the amount of times that storm siren goes off. I believe we probably had, I'm going to say, between 6 and 10 severe thunderstorms happen since March 1st, and I believe we've only had 2 light-ups of the sirens because they actually met the siren threshold of greater than 70 miles an hour. The other ones didn't set the sirens off, but it did activate the other means, the weather radios and the apps and things along those lines. So people still get the warning, they just don't hear the sirens anymore. So that's really the big change that we're actually documenting inside the emergency operations plan. And that's it.
So one of the benefits of that is people were, as you might know, when all the sirens went off, it was easier to take it for granted or to ignore the sirens if one too many times they went off and nothing actually happened. We were fighting that for years. How do we improve that? And
Yeah, that
this
whole
is one
cry
plan to
wolf
do it.
syndrome complacency thing.
Right.
Try to reduce that a little bit.
So we have any other questions before we read the summary and the resolution?
So with this sending the text out and stuff, does it reduce the amount of sirens we need?
No, I don't think so. In fact, there's probably a case to be made for some additional sirens in certain areas.
Well, I've had some
which-
people contact me out in the Little Dixie area.
Yeah, that's one of them. I think we probably should talk about that at some point and look and see where the population centers are more, what's the word I'm looking for? There's more people in that area than maybe not.
Right.
So we can look at that and see. Maybe we'll sit down and talk about that sometime soon, maybe out towards the south part of the county, towards Webster County even. Okay.
Read a summary of the resolution.
Okay, there is no summary, so I will read the resolution. Whereas KRS 39B.0101, KRS 39B.0303, KRS 39C.0503, and applicable Kentucky administrative regulations requires the development and maintenance of a local emergency operations plan which sets forth the local government organizational structure, policies, procedures, and guidelines for the management and coordination of all disaster and emergency response in Henderson County and its cities. And whereas KRS 39B.0303, KRS 39B.0602, KRS 39C.0503, applicable Kentucky administrative regulations and planning guidance issued by the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management require the local emergency operations plan be officially approved and adopted by signed resolution of the Henderson County Judge Executive. And whereas the Director of the Henderson County Office of Emergency Management has submitted the Henderson County Emergency Operations Plan to the County Judge Executive for official approval and adoption in accordance with the aforementioned laws, administrative regulations, and planning guidance. Now therefore, I, Brad Schneider, Henderson County Judge Executive, by the virtue of the powers and authorizes vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and in accordance with the provisions of KRS 39A to 39F, applicable Kentucky administrative regulations, and the Henderson County Emergency Management Ordinance, do hereby and direct the following. 1, the Henderson County Emergency Operations Plan is officially approved and adopted in the Emergency Support Function, or ESF, format effective the date of this resolution as shown herein. The conveyance of the official approval and adoption of the Henderson County Emergency Operations Plan through this resolution shall remain continuously in effect from the date of the resolution as shown herein or until superseded by a subsequent resolution promulgated in accordance with KRS 39B.0303, KRS 39B.0602, KRS 39C.0503. Applicable Kentucky administrative regulations and planning guidance issued by the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management. 3, a copy of the officially approved and adopted Henderson County Emergency Operations Plan, including this resolution, shall be placed on file for public inspection during regular office hours in the Henderson County Office of Emergency Management.
Motion to approve?
So move.
Motion and second. Any other discussion or questions of Kenny? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Next, for an animal control report, Lori Miller is with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. All right, so we'll start with our calls for service by our animal control officers. Since I last reported to y'all, they had 15. Thankfully, not as many cruelty calls or neglect calls as we had in the previous months. I think I have the breakdown attached to that report I sent you guys. We had 25 animals entering the shelter and 22 leaving, so a little lopsided there. I'm not crazy about those numbers. We had 8 adopted, only 6 were reclaimed, with the majority of those animals being stray animals that were coming in. We had 5 transferred to other facilities and only 1 euthanized due to medical reasons. It was a little senior dog. So spay and neuter surgeries, we've been catching up on those significantly. We had 25 dogs and 35 cats, 10 of which were through our community cat program, which I had mentioned a couple months ago we had recently launched. And then also, speaking of newer programs, Pete's Pantry, it's our food assistance program, has fed 33 pets in the last month. So that's not 33 individuals, that's amongst a group of, people with a lot of pets that they can't afford to feed. So I'm very thankful that we're able to do that. It's just one of the ways we're trying to keep pets with their people in their home where they belong. So I'll get to the fun part now. I won't go too deep into it, but I know Kurt had forwarded you all some remediation quotes for our mouse remediation project. I bring this up to you all because it does directly impact, the services we provide through animal control. What started as what we thought was a manageable pest problem is having a lot bigger implications as far as structural integrity, safety of the animals and staff. So we have had 2 quotes so far for a full mouse remediation project. It's at least 4 phases. We're going to have to, break it down. It is really significantly larger than what our organization even has in our reserves to handle. We're still building on that. So I bring it to you all because I hope to, collaborate with Fiscal Court to explore some solutions, whether that be, partnerships or funding avenues that help protect those services that we provide for animal control long term. We're currently working on our budget and reviewing our financial situation since funding is based on grants and community support. And like I mentioned, we're rebuilding our reserve account, but we just do not have it. But this is a problem that has been in the works. Like I said, we thought we could manage it with traditional pest control means, but it is far past that. So I felt the need to bring it to y'all's attention. we're looking at a 6-month timeline with this. That's how severely it's needed to be addressed. So I'm open to any thoughts. This is just a preliminary, me bringing it to your attention. Next time I meet you all, I'd be happy to bring, whether that's, if you need to see pictures firsthand of what we're dealing with. Also, we got a third quote this morning. I'll have that as well, but they don't do the full scope of what we're needing done. So,
Well, I was going to ask, what's, just in general, what's the quotes look like? Just, I know you don't have them finalized, but just have.
yeah, so the quotes we're looking at on the lower end, it's about 8,000. On the higher end, we're looking at 90,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so a bulk of that is in the insulation removal, because that's where a lot of the problem is, where it remains. That's where the mice are living, reproducing generations. They don't even have to leave the building, they're not even coming from outside at this point. And then reinstalling that insulation. So we've, asked for breakdowns from both of the pest control companies, and that's looking like that's really a bulk of the cost. Along with, we'll have to have sanitation, so that means them fogging and sanitizing the crawl space just from the top down. So like I said, that it will be safe and sanitary for staff and for our animals as well.
There's no grants that will cover that?
No, it's a very sort of a weird request. You don't find a lot of those that are just for remediation projects like that. So we are looking.
I have a suggestion. As you try to finalize some of these numbers, if you could determine the percentage of the building that animal control occupies and uses regularly, and maybe apply that percentage to the total, and we would fund that percentage of the total. I think that's something we could look strongly at. Anybody have any further thoughts on that? Maybe a way of contributing our fair share, because this problem does impact animal control.
Sounds to me like they need to fire the cats.
They're doing a horrible job. We have cats outside. We have our community cats, that protect the perimeter, and they are slacking. But I think that the mice far outnumber
I'm sure.
the cats. I mean, we've discussed leaving cats out in the evening, but I have holes in the wall from the mice that we can lose cats in. It's like it's that bad. And I'm also open to creative solutions. Me personally, long term, I would love a new facility that was built. I've tried to do a little research. I can't find an exact date of when that was built. It was in the 60s. It is very outdated as far as modern sheltering goes. It is not, it makes everyone's work harder because everything is so outdated. And I've had A1 Plumbing out numerous times to help me with those old drains and pipes that we have as well. And at this point, it just feels like we're sinking money into, a sinking ship in a way.
Right.
So,
Judge, I was going along those same lines, where we could see what is used for animal control in the Humane Society. And then whatever that percentage would look like, we could possibly do that.
I was just going to ask, you're located, of course, in a very isolated spot, surrounded by basically just land,
Right.
Undeveloped. So this is not going to be a problem that just goes away even after you've spent all this money, right?
yes.
Unless there's more done to try to get to the heart of the problem.
Sure.
These are field mice.
Yeah, and with this, I've worked in a shelter in Ward County that was in, a similar location. Never did we have this magnitude of a problem. It's been within the building for so long. I spent about a week filling up holes in just one particular room with, steel wool and rodent-proof caulking, only to come back and there be new holes. So it's feeling like, a lot of work done in vain. But yes, along with the quotes we've received, along with that process, it's ongoing pest control management. And since I have begun, and staff will probably laugh, I've been very diligent with, not leaving food out, everything in sealed containers. We're actually, getting a storage container just so I can store our food for Pete's Pantry and for the dogs, because it is such a battle keeping the mice out of it.
Maybe we can explore that percentage
Yes.
plan and come back to us, get the numbers solidified. I seem to sense some backing for that sort of, partial
Yes.
assistance there, so.
And one day, like I said, I hope to secure some land in the county and, start a capital campaign so we can get a facility. I don't need anything fancy. I just need something that's functioning. And I know the animals of Henderson County would really benefit from that, as well as the people, so we could provide those services. So,
And to clarify, the Humane Society owns the building.
unfortunately, yes.
And the city owns the land,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
a very
Complicates
weird
it.
situation.
It's a very weird situation, and it's a difficult one for me because kind of not a lot that we can do. So,
Lori, on that 90,000, was they reconstructing something, a demolition of some part, or?
I joked, I'm like, we could just build a little tiny house for an office and have some outdoor kennels. That's what I said, some creative solutions. 51,000 of that was insulation of the new
Okay.
Pro-Therm insulation. So,
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you, Lori.
thank you.
Next, I'll call up Jailer Todd to give us a recommendation on the construction manager choice for the new jail extension.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Well, to let you know, we had three people contact us. One was out of North Carolina. We never heard back. So the two that we did receive, they were outstanding. Both of them has built several jails. They were very capable. We looked at several weeks for cost, and we sent out questions, and the crew, and we met with Butch, and we decided to go with Codell Construction. They're here in Kentucky. They've done several ones, and the percentage is about the same. We just feel that we got a better control of a monthly cost through them. So we're excited to get started, and we're approaching it up to around 490, 500 inmates again. So we need to get started.
Well, Jailer, on the top of that, they're real familiar with the operations in Kentucky as well.
Right.
They know who to go to
They're
in the corrections department for if
familiar with
anything.
DOCs,
Yeah. So it could expedite the process, actually.
right.
And I think one of the key points here is that we were able to get from Codell a little bit more detailed listing of their expected expenses as part of the management contract. And so it gave you, and I think Butch, a little bit more comfort in being able to control that number. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct, yeah. And like I said, both of them, they're outstanding, they're references, everybody just praised them, so just a tough decision, but we need to get moving, and so,
Need to get moving. Yep.
yeah.
So we have a recommendation on Codell. Any other questions?
Good choice, Jill.
Thank you.
Get a motion to approve?
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? We appreciate both companies
Yep, we do, yeah.
getting it.
Hopefully we can use them again.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Yep, and just a quick report, like I said, we were, state inmates starting to rise again. Federal inmates were in the 208 again, over 200. So we're holding our own there. I will tell you that in the last few months, our commissary building is we're outgrowing it. So we're looking at maybe extending that building another 10 foot out to give them more room with increased inmates. There's more produce stuff coming through. So I'll be looking at, we'll get bids, and I'll get back to you when we decide more on that.
One thing I'd like to point out, and we had talked before about the need for the expansion and how important the viability of the jail is to the county's finances overall. And I'm pleased to report that this year's been very well managed. Thank you, Jailer Todd. Looks like they're going to finish solidly in the black once again, and it is a blessing to the county to have that be the case pretty much annually, with a few recent exceptions, but this year and the last 3 years. And so, thank you for that. We benefit greatly as a county when our jail can pay for itself. So, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Court.
Thank you.
Next, County Clerk Bernice Abner, to your report.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Today I have the payments to the treasurer for April 2026. We have excess fees for the month of $126,491.04, with a total amount remitted at $177,535.34. That is $4,000 less than April of 2025. We were down a little bit in our delinquent tax collection. And I didn't know if I could talk about elections as well. The audit? Okay. Election, we ran another successful election thanks to support we received from Fiscal Court and the judge. And also all the other departments in the county help us out tremendously. The road department, with transporting all of our equipment to our polling locations. So outstanding job they did doing all of that in the rain and all that fun stuff. And also Brent, he helps us tremendously as well. He does a lot of things in the sheriff, providing his personnel for assistance at the polling locations as well. And my staff, everyone does a great job. So I just wanted to commend everybody on that. We had a 22% turnout at the election, which is it doesn't sound great, but it is up from our other primaries, which I was happy about that. We did have a lot of participation in early voting, went really, really well. And let's see. I think that's got it. Oh, the audit. We did an audit on Friday. And it's kind of like a check the tech, making sure that all of the votes that are marked on the ballots that go through the equipment that's certified, making sure those votes count. And so legislation was passed in 2024 and became effective in the general of 2024. We did an audit then, and the totals were the same, so no variations there. And this is the second one we've performed, and it happened on Friday. And I'm happy to report that the results are exactly the same as well. So, does anyone have any questions on that?
Our compliments to your team. It was a
Thank you.
smooth night, I thought.
I move to accept County Clerk's report.
We have a motion. We have a
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Again, thank you for everything
Thank
you
you.
do, Renisa. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Gold, your report.
Judge, I've got several checks today. The health insurance, $22,105.27. The clinic cost $378.99. Dental life vision, $795.50 and $11.10. Aflac, $403.06. Interest in the amount of $932.28, $80.47, $69.86, and $30.39. And flow through from the city, $458.33, bringing today's total to $25,265.25, and bringing the fiscal year total to date to $281,148.62.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, I'll call up Treasurer Ryder, we're going to have first reading of our 26-27 budget. I will say, before we launch into that, I've been very closely watching our coal severance revenue. After the workshop we held, but before this meeting, we had our next quarter of coal severance revenue come in, and it was less than expected. And the reasons for it, we're still researching because it was not obvious what the reason would be. So I'll report back. I think it's still fine to go ahead and approve this budget, but I think if that trend continues, we will need to be a little bit more cautious about what we spend on roads and other things that we were anticipating, and that's okay. It won't be a huge difference, but it will be a difference. And so just wanted to give you a heads up on that, but I don't think it should preclude us from passing this budget. We'll just have to watch it closely and see what the trend is. So
Judge, they changed the calculation or something?
we're finding out. We're finding out. We have inquiries both into the Department of Revenue, the Revenue Cabinet, and Alliance Coal, so I'll report back when we're get a little bit more clarity on that. But as you remember, coal severance is based on tonnage mined inside the county. That's a moving target, depending on customer demand. But the breakdown of their customers that I did receive from Alliance are all power generators in this region. And as we know, the demand for power is only going up. So you'd think that would work in our favor. But we will find out, and I will report back. So with that, I'll turn it over.
This is the first reading of the budget for fiscal year 2027. The budget is balanced with respect to revenues and appropriation. The total of the budget is $39,955,332. The funds breakdown is general fund, $12,917,231. Road fund, $5,754,062. Jail fund, $10,016,388. LGEA, which is local government economic assistance, $3,646,498. State grants fund, $1,663,319. Federal grants fund, $2,500,000. Economic development fund, $100,000. Opioid settlement fund, $162,834. Clerk SB 135 fund, which is the clerk permanent storage fund, $45,000. Employee health insurance fund, $3,150,000. ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act Fund, $0. The total of this budget again is $39,955,332. Also attached to this budget on the second to last page of the packet is the standing orders approving certain reoccurring expenses. These expenses may reoccur outside of the normal court approvals. These include for the general, road, and jail funds, payroll and all related benefit expenses, utilities, phone, which includes land and sale, and postage. Also, the state and federal grants fund and the appropriation for employee health insurance fund, which takes care of the premiums and claims.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We're gonna call the roll on this.
Magistrate Starks,
Aye.
Magistrate Barry,
Aye.
Magistrate Southard,
Aye.
Magistrate Tompkins,
Aye.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
I will vote aye for the record. Thank you for your work on that, and thanks to everybody, county government, for your work on that, and for the magistrates. I think it's a good budget. And going on, you have some fund transfers?
Yes. The transfers are as presented, and these are adjusting the appropriations through the fiscal year end. Also, I have a cash transfer to the ARPA fund from the general fund of $74,317.71. What this dates back to September of 2021, when the ARPA fund was almost brand new at the time, and the guidance was as we went along. There was There was a transfer from the ARPA fund to the general fund for eligible revenue losses to pay ARPA-related claims from the general fund. The final ruling after the fact from the Treasury and the guidance from the State Auditor's Office determined that all claims should be paid directly from the ARPA fund. This balance of $74,317.71 stayed in the general fund. And now as we get close to the final reconciliation of the ARPA fund, which will be after December 31st of 2026, it's necessary to make this transfer.
And we can utilize those funds before the end of this calendar year.
Yes, sir.
We need to, actually.
Yes.
Is that all you got, Brenda, on the transfers?
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions about transfers? As a reminder, this is time of year then we're squaring all these line items up. You know, budget's a guess at the beginning of the year, and as we get close to the end, you'll see transfers to make sure everything stays in order. So thank you. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You have received your bank balances after paying claims today. Your day-to-day operation should be at appropriation should be at approximately 91%. I do have one claim from the general fund to Wex Bank, which is the sheriff's fuel cards, $3,411.92, and this is to come from the sheriff's fuel appropriation line.
Move to pay the claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I will note that, as Treasurer Ryder said, the appropriate percentage spent to this point should be 91%. Overall, all funds included, we are at 69.9%. So good job, everybody, making sure we watch the pennies, and appreciate that. The general fund percentage, bear with me for 1 second. It's at 70.93%. So that's how you do it. I appreciate everyone's help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if anybody'd like to say anything for good of the county, please come on up to the podium. And please introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Joseph Horton. I'm a resident here in Henderson. So first thing I have is a question. I was here on the, when y'all were talking about the budget a week or two ago. I know KRS is pretty strict about when the budget can be done. My question is, can salaries be adjusted if they have been specifically laid out in the budget after the first Monday of May?
I think we can adjust by vote at that point if we need to adjust them.
Okay. So I saw the magistrate salary proposed is a little over 30,000.
I think it's 35.
35,000. Magistrate's classified as a part-time job here in the state of Kentucky, yet magistrates receive full-time pay. The average part-time pay for Henderson, as reported by ZipRecruiter, a couple other sources, about $15 an hour. To reflect the people they represent, I asked that the salary be moved from the 35 to the more appropriate 19,500, which is more in line with the state average. I know magistrates probably aren't real happy with that number. I would also like to point out that magistrates do receive a health insurance and other benefits that normal part-time employees don't receive. I think that more than justifies the reduction in pay to, again, the more appropriate, closer to state average.
Thank you for your comment.
Well, let me address, we got to put in a minimum of 100 hours. These jobs are 24-hour days. Magistrates are on anybody's beck and call at any time of the day, night. You know, so when you're trying to put a reference on it, we made $17,000 for 26 years before we got our first increase.
Oh, which is.
I mean, we were way under
As
what
way
everybody
under.
else was making, so we're just now getting caught up.
Average salary for magistrates in the state of Kentucky is only about $21K.
What's KRS say?
KRS says 90-some thousand that you can make.
You can make up to, I think, 90,000.
94, I
Roughly
believe.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
But that was just for clarification. It isn't like you just come here twice a month.
Right.
You know, there's
And
a
I
whole lot
understand
more
that,
that's
and
involved in it.
That's not, factored in those hours, it's just coming here twice a month. It's just,
Right.
part-time pay as part-time hours
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah, again, we all sit on various boards, and none of them I sit on pay.
No.
But they do take time.
Right.
So if you try and just put an hourly rate on something, I don't think you can get there.
Well, and I understand what you're saying now, but there's still the fact that Henderson County is the top 32% of magistrate pay in the state of Kentucky. I don't see it unreasonable to dropping that down closer to the state average of 21,000.
Well, thank you.
I need to clarify, the magistrate's appropriation salary line is a total of $125,000, and that is $25,000 per magistrate.
Anybody else for good of the county? Hearing none, we'll go around the horn. Magistrate Southern.
We had one of the best springs we've had ever farming since I've been farming. And all this rain that went up the river decided to come back down. So we got a river coming. So if you're out and about down in the lower bottoms, different places, be careful because there could be some flooding in different places or over the roads and things. So other than that, all's good in District 3.
Master Tompkins.
I just want to say, Eric and his team, he's not here, but they did a great job running the pickup and cleanups for everywhere. As usual, Eric does a great job. He's done well in his position. Also, Nick Stallings, I want to congratulate and just recognize him again because the stuff he does to continue to go above and beyond is nothing short of amazing to me. I don't know where he finds the time in the day to do all he does, but does a great job. So that's it for me, Judge.
Master Putman.
All's good in the fourth, Judge. Thank you.
We'll go with Magistrate Starks.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everybody, and great to have everybody with us this morning. I'm kind of like Butch. I don't have a whole lot to say. I just want to commend the Henderson War Memorial Foundation for another great service that they had yesterday, and of course, how they kept up the park looking so good even when the weather's not great. So just appreciate all of them. Also want to congratulate the now graduates of 2026 out at Henderson County High School. I was proud to be at the Ford Center that night with the live stream, and it's always a special time, and I really look forward to seeing what they will be doing from here on out in their careers and their lives, and wish them all the best. And with that, everything else is good.
Master Berry.
Thank you, Judge. I just want to say all the county employees go far beyond what we ask. They all do a good job. Nick, I call Nick, and he calls me back with he's done more than I ask. And I mean, you can't ask for better than that. Good staff. Everybody's got a good staff, all the elected officials. I know Renesa's getting ready to retire, but we don't like that, but that's okay. She can. She'll enjoy it. But just everybody's done such a good job. So thank you, Judge.
Mr. Gold.
Judge, I want to piggyback a little bit off what Magistrate Berry said. Of course, Renisa does a great job, runs elections really well. There's all this talk around the nation all the time about elections and election security. Being involved in that a little bit from the back end side as the attorney for the Board of Elections, I get to see kind of the back end of how well she does that, and a lot of that is a testament to her, but also a testament to her staff. And in Carrie, her the county clerk-elect, I think we are going to be in very good shape as well. One of the great things Renise has done is she's trained in a good replacement, and that's great. Also, with what Brent and the sheriff's office does to make all that run smoothly, it's really amazing how that sort of logistical issue that elections are, especially now with multiple days of voting, it's amazing how well and how smoothly they can make that run. So it's a testament to all of those folks involved in that. And my apologies to any of you as far as trying to contact me this past week or for this upcoming week. We're in a time period when I'm between child support attorneys. New one starts June 1, so right now I'm doing double duty at 2 different offices, and I'm meeting myself coming and going. But anybody that has anything, call, email, I will get back to you. It may be 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, but I will get back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Gold. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor can leave.